Hi all, welcome back to the training series. Now earlier we had just had a check on organization level security and object level security. Now we move on to even more depth, that is about the record level security. Record level security is basically what we're trying to do is, now that users have access to the organization and the objects, the next thing that we would try to accomplish is restricting access based on the records. Now to do that, we have different options available. We have the organization-wide default, we have sharing roles, manual sharing, roles and subordinates, and teams. Now I would be walking you through all these options individually. However, first, for instance, let's go ahead and just take a quick example from opportunities. Now if I go ahead and select opportunities, all opportunities, and I'm able to see a total of 31 records. Now if I go ahead and log in as the user, Robin, who is a user that I had created. So if I go ahead and quickly refresh this page, just wanted to have a count. So Robin also is able to see 31 records. The reason that Robin is able to see 31 records, same as me, is because of, first thing, these organization-wide defaults refers to as the base level settings of any organization with reference to row records. Now if I go ahead and just have a check on what exactly is the rule written for records, for the organization-wide defaults, for that you'll have to go ahead and search for sharing settings under security control. You just have to search for opportunity. Now if you just have a check, opportunity is made as public read write, hence users of any profile could access records of opportunities. Being said that, let's go ahead and quickly give that as an edit. Make opportunity as private. Now when I go ahead and make that as private, it would go ahead and recalculate everything again. It says some operations might not be available, so let's have a check what exactly is the issue. I'm giving that as a refresh. I think it should be done in any moment. Alright, before now that once gets completed, let's check that later. However, just giving you a brief idea, these organization-wide defaults have primarily the different level of access, just like private, public read-only, public read-write. Now apart from this, it also has controlled by parent, public read, write, and transfer. Other information is for knowledge purpose that you could retain, just like what we have is the public full access. Now speaking of private, when you specify organization-wide defaults for any object as private, that time only the owner can have all the access of editing his records. Now we are talking precisely about records that exist. Now he has access on, owner would have access on his own records, not any of the peers. So that is about private. Now public read only specifies that anyone across the organization would have access to only read the records and not make any changes. Public read write would specify that all the users across the organization can go ahead and view the records as well as edit the records. Now the four type of access that we have is controlled by parent. Controlled by parent is something that comes up in picture when there is a master detail relationship. When there is a master detail relationship, the child object would directly be controlled by parent. I will speak about the security settings on object relationships later in this series. For now, it would be very common for you to understand that if my master object has been set to OWD as private, then the child object also would inherit private as its OWD setting. If it is public read only, it would go ahead and inherit public read only. Likewise for public read write. Now speaking of public read write and transfer, public read write and transfer is available only for case and one more object. We have, I believe it should be leads. Yes, there you go. So only leads and cases have that option of public read write and transfer. Apart from that, the big thing that you've got to understand is about the grant access using hierarchies. Now this refers to that you're trying to grant, you're trying to provide access based on the users above you in the role hierarchy. For instance, you are working on opportunities which has been made private, and you get a chance to go ahead and you quit your organization and probably move to a new company. So that time your manager could go ahead and just have a check on the records, provided that this option is checked. If this option is not checked, the manager would not be able to check on the records that you were working or the opportunities that you're working. Apart from that, we could see other settings available and the sharing rules as well. So we're going to look into sharing rules after this. For now, the important thing is opportunity has been made private by the administrator. So it's time to quickly go ahead and just have a check after logging in as Robin. What goes next? So if I log in as Robin and just have a check on opportunity, click on all opportunities. Now you see you won't be able to see one single opportunity under Robin. Reason being, it's been made private and Robin did not own any opportunity. Now going ahead and providing access to Robin, furthermore from there, let's go ahead and give it to her step by step with all the options available so that you could get more granular idea. Now I would go ahead and just have a check on few opportunities where I could grab few important information. Now I see that the opportunity owner is myself, so I am going to go ahead and give you a little bit of hint how the sharing rules work. I am performing this only on one particular object. You could try this certainly on different objects. Now let's go ahead and click on new. Now what does sharing rule do? Now you've got to understand that now that I've made opportunities restricted so that only the owners could see the records, now I'm trying to open up the access so that users like Robin could go ahead and see these opportunities as well, provided some condition meets. So I'm going to quickly give that a label. Training I've given that as a name, right? You could give as an optional description. I'm going to give that there are two types of rules that you could specify, one based on the record owner and second one being based on the criteria. Now once you specify record owner, all the records owned by a particular person who fits in here would go ahead and you could select which records you want to share, or you could probably select a criteria on which criteria you want to go ahead and share these records. Now you could select the stage, you could select equals to, since this is a pick list value available on opportunities object, so I'm going to go ahead and select that all opportunities with negotiations review proposals price code is what I need to go ahead and share it with Robin. So I go ahead and just select the users with whom I would be sharing it. So here the options that you get is public groups, roles and subordinates. Now it is certain that I could probably put Robin under a public group. The reason that we could see these three options and not users is because sharing rules is something that you're trying to take a bunch of records probably and then make a bunch of users go ahead and see it. Being said that, never mind, I'm going to pick up VP marketing and I'm going to go ahead and share it to Robin in that way. Okay, and the third thing that comes up is which type of access do you wish to provide? Is it read only or read write? Let me go ahead and select read write for now. I'm going to quickly show you read only as well. So I do that, it would update all the records, perform a recalculation. If you just have a check, you might be able to see that there is a sharing rule that's created here. It shows as read write. So now I've opened up access even more. So now once I log in as Robin again, I know it's a tedious task, however I'm just trying to show you, trying to make it more clear. So all the records of that stage, now if you just have a check, so these are the opportunities, not all 31 opportunities, just 4 opportunities out of 31 which were having the stage of the stage that we selected in the rule have been made visible here. You could also see that these are editable as we made it. So I am going to make and show you another setting available. So that is about the sharing rule. So this is what I'm trying to make you guys understand, that organization-wide default is something that you might want to go ahead and consider at the most least security. I mean the most secure, not the least secure, but the most secure, so that you can probably open up access furthermore. Now coming to manual sharing. Manual sharing is nothing but it is a way of sharing records with making as a record owner you could probably go ahead and share the records. Now since I own the opportunities, so what I would do is I would go ahead and pick up any opportunities which is apart from the roles, which is apart from the stage that I selected. I select this opportunity. This opportunity is nothing but the edge emergency generator. Now on this opportunity you will be able to see a sharing button. Now sharing button, once clicked, you could probably see what is it that you're sharing. So presently who owns it. So now I click on add. Now I select users. Now you see users here. I'm going to pick up Robin. I'm going to just select Robin here and I'm going to give him a read only access. So once this is being saved as a routine task, let me go ahead and log in as Robin and show you what exactly went through in that case. So I select all opportunities again for him. Now you would see edge emergency generator being shown. Now I log in. I do see that this is also being made editable. Once he clicks on that, he would definitely get an error message of insufficient privileges because this access is not being provided by the owner, and that's me. So that is the third way of opening up access to Robin, so that you're not going to change profile. Now the reason to understand this is you could play around with profiles. However, it is advisable to go ahead and limit the number of profiles that is being used in an organization and comprehend those profiles. We have permission sets which deals only with object level access, etc. Now when you come to record level access, it is also advisable that you keep the access to the most least permissions granted at organization-wide defaults, and as and when it's needed you go ahead and increase or provide more and more permissions. Being said that, so we have completed manual sharing. Now, what is roles and subordinates? Roles and subordinates, I had mentioned this earlier as well. What happens is usually users above me in the role hierarchy, that is person whom I'm reporting to, would be able to access and see the records that I'm working on, which is ideal in an environment. Because I would certainly want my manager to have access, so that tomorrow if I have switched jobs, moved to a new company, I would not want calls coming in from my old teams that where do you have all these details. That doesn't really sound ethical. So I would go ahead and just have a check and try to move Robin somewhere above me in the role hierarchy, so that you can quickly have a check on how things have been all right. Okay, here is where Robin was placed. So I am going to go ahead and just have a check again. I see Robin available here, so I am going to go ahead and move Robin on the topmost of the chart hierarchy, and that would be okay. I'm going to go ahead and push Robin on top of the chart hierarchy, so that you could just have a check on how this really works. So I don't see any users here right now. I would just go ahead and log in as Robin again. So earlier he was able to see 5 records only. Chances are the same. That's because I stay much above him in the role hierarchy. So the idea is pretty much clear. Once he moves above me in the role hierarchy, so he would be able to go ahead and see these all opportunities which he was not able to, or for the matter of fact now he is. So that is about record level sharing. Now coming to teams. Teams is something that is being configured when it is very much specific to an organization which is using Sales Cloud or Service Cloud. Now you could find teams here. Now if I just have account, so you have something called as account teams, or if I'm working on Service Cloud, there is something called cases which we have. Now if I just select case teams, I can find out or define the case team, set it up, and once a user is added to the case teams, he would be able to access all the records owned by me. Now as a matter of fact here, now I'm just trying to set up the account teams. I'm just trying to enable account teams. I'm just trying to add it to all the page layouts available. I'm just going to create a related list as well. Alright, so once I open any account, this is just to show you one quick thing. So there you go, you see account teams available. Account teams. So now any opportunities that is here which is not seen by Robin, and if he's a part of this account team, he would certainly be able to see all the accounts, contacts, opportunities related to this account. Now just to give you a demonstration, firstly let me log in as Robin just to have a check on what he's able to see and what not. Give a fair bit of idea. so I do not see him being able to see Burlington Textiles. So I would alright, so I'm going to quickly select Burlington Textiles, go to account teams. I'm going to add Robin right here in the account team and give him read write access, and the opportunity is what you could define. Opportunities, cases, and the team role specifically you could define it. So I'm going to give him a read only access, and I'm going to give him a read write access on case. And team role, this is a very important factor of what team role does he represent for this particular account. So I would go ahead and make him as a lead qualifier. So just once you save this record, you'd be able to see that, and let me log in as Robin. Okay, so once I click on opportunities and click on all opportunities, there you go. So he'd still be able to go ahead and see this opportunity, and also the account, not to forget, because account is not being quite made as any changes, no changes were made on the OWT for account, so he'd still be able to go ahead and just have a check. Alright, so this is about record level sharing. So the possible tips on interview would be, there might be questions coming in from all different perspectives, right from organization, object, driving down to record level security, which is most important. Please be very sharp in answering these questions. They might try to confuse you. As an interviewer, anyone would try to do that. So be firm in your concepts, that control by parent is one very important factor. Grant access using hierarchies is where you need to focus on. And there are the account teams, case teams, opportunity teams. This is just an added bit of a thing available which you could probably suggest, which sometimes they could be looking for as an answer. They might try to confuse you on the roles and subordinates sometimes. Be very sharp. Sharing rules, try to practice them a little more by creating 2 or 3 sharing rules for different objects. It could be created for standard as well as custom objects. I would be creating that in the upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching it. I hope it's been helpful.